This show is sponsored by Audible. Fans of It Matters can get a 30-day free trial of Audible Premium Plus. Stay tuned for details. Hello, and welcome to It Matters How We Treat One Another, the social psychology show. I'm your host, Matthew David Vasco. If you subscribe to this show on YouTube or your favorite podcasting platform, then thank you. We are grateful for each and every one of our subscribers. We are also thankful for our patrons on Patreon. Your support helps to make this episode possible. This episode, I'll be focusing on ways to increase the quality of your interpersonal connections and deepen your relationships in the new year. This is a social science spin on the old adage, New Year, New You. Instead of focusing on physical health, we'll be focusing on how healthier relationships and interactions with others can improve our mental health and well-being. But first, our inspiring news. If inspiring things are happening in your neck of the woods, then please send us a direct message on one of our social media accounts and let us know. You can find us by our show name on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Blue Sky. I'm excited to share some genuinely inspiring news from the world of social science, a development that speaks directly to how we can make 2026 a year of deeper connection and well-being. Last year, the World Health Organization took an unprecedented step by establishing the WHO Commission on Social Connection. Last summer, they released their landmark report, and I believe it represents a turning point in how we understand human well-being. Here's why that is so significant. For the first time, a major global health organization is officially recognizing loneliness and social isolation as urgent public health priorities, on par with physical diseases. The WHO is saying that our connections with other people are as critical to our health as managing chronic disease and preventing infections. The Commission's findings show that approximately 1 in 6 people worldwide experiences loneliness at any given time, contributing to roughly 871,000 deaths each year globally. But here's where it gets promising. The Commission didn't just document the problem. They mapped out concrete, evidence-based solutions. They're calling on governments, communities, and all sectors to treat social connection with the same urgency we treat other health conditions. This is a fundamental shift. For too long, we've treated loneliness as a personal failing or simply an unpleasant feeling to endure. But the science is clear. Social connection is a biological need, as fundamental as nutrition or sleep. And the Commission's report shows that promising solutions already exist, from community interventions to workplace policies that support relationship building. We're not starting from scratch. The research shows us what works. And here's more encouraging news. Recent research shows that well-being actually fuels our ability to face challenges and pursue goals. This flips the script on New Year's resolutions. Instead of grinding through challenges alone, we now know that investing in our relationships and well-being first creates the foundation that makes achieving our goals possible. Think about what this means as we start a new year. The most effective path to lasting change isn't discipline and deprivation. It's tending to our well-being and our connections. The secret to a successful year might just be building the social and emotional resources that help us thrive. The beauty of this approach is that every single one of us can contribute. Every time we reach out to a friend, show up fully present in our relationships, or practice kindness, we're participating in a larger movement toward a more connected, healthier world. The science is clear. The path forward is mapped, and the timing couldn't be better. So, in our feature segment today, let's dive into what the research tells us about how to actually do this, how to invest in our relationships, deepen our connections, and practice the type of kindness that transforms both our own lives and the lives of those around us. Let's make this the year of connection. Again, if you know of inspiring things happening in your area, then please DM us on our socials and let us know. Thanks. Up next is our feature segment. But first, this show is sponsored by Audible. You probably already know that Audible is an outstanding source for audiobooks. But did you know that Audible is also an amazing resource for guided wellness? It's true. And fans of our show can get a free month of Audible Premium Plus just by clicking the link in our episode description or by visiting the podcast page at MatthewVasco.com. Again, that's a free month of Audible Premium Plus by clicking the link in our episode description or by visiting MatthewVasco.com and clicking podcast. And now our feature segment. Welcome to this special Getting the New Year Started Right segment of It Matters How We Treat One Another. As we begin a new year, many of us are thinking about resolutions and fresh starts. And I have some genuinely exciting news for you. The most powerful thing you can do for your well-being this year is also one of the most accessible and meaningful. According to decades of social science research, the quality of our relationships and how we treat others may be the single most important factor in living a healthier, happier, more meaningful life. Think about that for a moment. Not your bank account, not your job title, not even your fitness level, though these things matter, but your connections to other people. This is incredibly hopeful news because nurturing relationships and practicing kindness are things every single one of us can do, starting right now. Today, we are going to explore what the science tells us about investing in relationships, fostering connection, practicing kindness, and engaging in pro-social behavior. And I'll share concrete, evidence-based strategies you can implement today that will genuinely transform your year and maybe even your life. Here we go. Let me start with what might be the most important longitudinal study in psychology. The Harvard study of adult development has followed over 700 people for more than 85 years, tracking their health, happiness, and life outcomes. The study's director, Dr. Robert Waldinger, summarized the findings with beautiful simplicity. Quote, "Good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period." End quote. But here's what makes these findings so powerful and so full of possibility. When the researchers looked at all the factors that predicted well-being in midlife and beyond, relationship quality was a better indicator than social class, IQ, or even genes. People who were more socially connected to family, friends, and community were happier, physically healthier, and lived longer than people who were less well connected. Now, I know that loneliness and isolation are real struggles for many people. The study found that people who were more isolated than they wanted to be reported being less happy. Their health declined earlier, and they lived shorter lives. But here's the hopeful part. It's never too late to invest in connection. The research shows that people who strengthen their relationships, even later in life, experienced significant benefits. And it's not about having dozens of friends or being extroverted. It's the quality of close relationships that matters most. Having good, warm relationships is profoundly protective of our well-being. The finding is supported by extensive research. A major meta-analysis, that means a study of studies, by Julie and Holt-Lunstad and colleagues reviewed 148 studies with over 300,000 participants and found that people with stronger social relationships had about a 50%, yes, that's right, 50% increased likelihood of survival. To put that in perspective, the magnitude of this effect is comparable to quitting smoking. You know, people talk all the time about the importance of quitting smoking and how that is important to longevity and overall good health. Think about that with regard to your relationships. Having quality, warm, meaningful relationships is as important as being a non-smoker. So, as we think about the new year, imagine this. You have the power to profoundly improve your health, happiness, and longevity simply by deepening your connection with others. That's not just inspiring, it's actionable. Let's look at exactly how to do it. First, let's start with a simple strategy. Prioritize high quality time. Here's something wonderful. Research by Shira Gabriel and colleagues has found that shared experiences, particularly interesting and challenging ones, strengthen relationship bonds. Couples who engaged in novel activities together reported higher relationship quality than those who engaged in pleasant but mundane activities. But here's the best part. You don't need exotic adventures or expensive outings. What truly matters is being fully present. A study by Konstantin Kushlev and Elizabeth Dunn found that people who put away their phones during meals, something pretty simple to do, with friends and family, reported greater enjoyment and felt more connected. That makes common sense, right? The simple act of eliminating distractions during time together enhances relationship quality. So here's an action step for you. This week, schedule regular, distraction-free time with the people who matter most to you. Put phones away, make eye contact, be fully present. Notice how different it feels and how much it means to the other people. Strategy 2. Practice active and constructive responding. This strategy is one of my favorites because it's so simple yet so powerful. And you can make a difference in your own relationships with this simple strategy. Psychologist Shelly Gable's research shows that when someone shares good news with us, how we respond profoundly affects our relationship with them. Active, constructive responding means responding with genuine enthusiasm and asking questions to help the person savor the experience. Gable's research found that this response style was associated with higher relationship well-being, trust, and intimacy. And if we reflect on it, we can probably think of people in our own lives who respond in such a way that it makes us more trusting of them and feel closer to them, right? The beautiful thing is that this costs nothing and it takes just moments, but it can transform your relationships. When you celebrate others' wins enthusiastically, you become someone people want to share their lives with. So here's an action step. Start today. When someone shares good news, light up. Respond with genuine enthusiasm. Ask questions. Help them relive and savor the positive experience. Say something like, "That's wonderful. Tell me everything about how it happened. How does it feel?" Something like that. Strategy 3. Express gratitude and appreciation. Here's something that might surprise you. Expressing gratitude doesn't just make the other person feel good, it transforms you as well. Sarah Algo's research shows that expressing appreciation strengthens relationships by helping you perceive your relationship partner as more responsive and by motivating you to become more responsive yourself. One study found that when people expressed gratitude to their romantic partners, both the expressor and the recipient experienced increased relationship connection and satisfaction the next day. Think about that. One act of gratitude creates a ripple of goodness that continues to benefit both people. Here's an action step. Make it a daily practice to notice and express specific appreciation. Not just something like, "Thanks for dinner," but something more like, "I really appreciate that you remembered that I had a tough day and made my favorite meal. It made me feel cared for." Be specific. Be genuine. Watch what happens. Strategy 4. Engage in self-disclosure and active listening. Arthur Aaron's famous research demonstrated that gradually escalating self-disclosure creates closeness, even between strangers. Pairs of participants who spent 45 minutes asking each other increasingly personal questions felt significantly closer to each other than control pairs who engaged in small talk. This is incredibly powerful news. You have the ability to create deeper connections simply by being willing to be authentic and ask meaningful questions. And when paired with responsive listening, truly seeking to understand, these conversations can transform relationships. So here's your action step. This week, move beyond small talk with someone. Ask a deeper question. Something like, what's been on your mind lately? Or what are you looking forward to? And when someone opens up to you, give them the gift of your full attention. Listen to understand, not simply to respond. Now, let's turn to what might be the most uplifting research in all of psychology, the science of kindness. The findings here are remarkably clear and wonderfully encouraging. Being kind to others is one of the most reliable ways to boost your own well-being. This is a fact. As we featured in Season 1, Episode 4, The Helper's High is Real. Research by Sonia Lyubomirsky found that performing acts of kindness led to significant increases in well-being. Participants who performed 5 acts of kindness in a single day each week for 6 weeks reported substantial increases in happiness. And Elizabeth Dunn's research has shown that spending money on others produces greater happiness than spending money on yourself. This finding has been replicated across countries, age groups, and income levels. Even small amounts matter. People given just $5 to spend on others reported greater happiness than those who had $5 to spend on themselves. Think about how empowering this is. Whenever you're feeling down, you have an immediate remedy available. You can lift your own spirits by lifting someone else's. It doesn't mean you always have to spend money on them. It just simply means that a kind act for another person can help lift your own spirits. Why does kindness make us feel good? The mechanisms are fascinating. First, helping others activates reward centers in the brain, as if we've evolved to be kind, releasing feel-good chemicals like oxytocin and dopamine. Your brain literally rewards you for being kind. Second, kindness enhances our sense of meaning and purpose. When we help others, we feel that our lives matter and that we're making a positive difference. In a world that can feel overwhelming and chaotic, this sense of agency and purpose is incredibly valuable. Third, pro-social behavior strengthens social connections. When we're kind to others, they tend to reciprocate and want to spend more time with us, creating an upward spiral of positivity. Isn't that nice to hear? An upward spiral of positivity? Yes, that is possible. Let's look at some evidence-based strategies for practicing kindness. Strategy 1. Make kindness varied and intentional. Here's an encouraging finding. Lyubomirsky, who I mentioned earlier, that study found that people who performed different acts of kindness showed sustained well-being boosts. This means you can keep experiencing the benefits by getting creative with your kindness. Action step. Create a kindness menu with different types of helping behaviors: emotional support, practical assistance, unexpected gestures, expressions of appreciation. Challenge yourself to try something new each week. Make it fun. Strategy 2. Notice the impact of your kindness. Here's something that might surprise you. Research by Laura Acnin shows that people consistently underestimate how much their kindness matters to recipients. We focus on the awkwardness or small cost to ourselves, but recipients report much greater positive impact than helpers expect. Your kindness matters more than you think. Let that sink in. Every small gesture has ripple effects you may never see the end of. Action step. When you do something kind, take a moment to notice and savor its impact. How did the person respond? How might it have affected their day? Allow yourself to feel good about making a difference. Strategy 3. Practice random acts of kindness. Random acts of kindness create a ripple effect. People who receive unexpected kindness are more likely to help others subsequently. That's kind of the old adage of paying it forward. You can literally create waves of kindness in the world. Here's your action step. Look for opportunities to surprise someone with kindness. Pay for someone's coffee. Leave an encouraging note. Send a message to someone you haven't talked to in a while, telling them you were thinking of them. Be the reason someone smiles today. Strategy 4. Combine kindness with social connection. Here's where these themes come together beautifully. Research shows that acts of kindness are more powerful when they involve genuine connection. Here's your action step. When helping others, engage authentically. Make eye contact. Have a brief conversation. Let the interaction become a moment of genuine human connection. These micro moments of connection add up to a more meaningful life. I want to acknowledge something important. I'm kind of changing the tone here a little bit. Many of us are feeling anxious or discouraged about the state of the world right now. Political divisions, social challenges, global uncertainties. It can all feel overwhelming. And it's precisely in these challenging times that connection and relationships become even more crucial. Research on resilience consistently shows that social support is one of the most powerful protective factors we can have when we're facing adversity. When psychologists study people who thrive despite difficult circumstances, strong relationships emerge as a common thread. Not because relationships make problems disappear, but because facing challenges alongside others makes us stronger and more resilient. There's something deeply hopeful in this. We may not be able to solve every problem in the world, but we can control how we show up for each other. We can be a source of light, kindness, and support in each other's lives. And when we do this, we are not just making our small corner of the world a little better. We're literally building the very resilience we need to tackle larger challenges. Barbara Fredrickson's research on positive emotions shows that connection and kindness don't just feel good in the moment. They broaden our thinking and build our psychological resources over time. When we invest in relationships and practice kindness, we're better equipped to handle stress, solve problems creatively, and maintain hope. And hope is an important ingredient in warding off despair. So, If you're feeling discouraged, remember this. Every meaningful conversation, every act of kindness, every moment of genuine connection is an act of resistance against isolation and despair. You're building something important. You're contributing to a better world, one relationship at a time. In conclusion, as we've seen, investing in relationships and practicing kindness aren't just nice things to do. They're fundamental to human well-being, supported by decades of rigorous research. The quality of our relationships predicts our health, happiness, and longevity. And treating others with kindness doesn't just help them, it transforms us. The beautiful thing about these strategies is that they're accessible to everyone right now. You don't need money, special skills, or ideal circumstances. You just need intentionality and the willingness to try. And here's what I found most encouraging. Every single strategy we've discussed creates positive feedback loops. When you're fully present with someone, they feel valued and are more likely to be present for you. When you express appreciation, others feel grateful and express appreciation back. When you practice kindness, you feel better, which makes you more likely to be kind again. Small actions compound into transformative changes. So, here's my challenge for the new year, and I'm genuinely excited for you. Choose one or two strategies we've discussed today and commit to practicing them regularly. Maybe it's putting your phone away during family dinners. Maybe it's expressing specific appreciation to someone each day. Maybe it's performing one intentional act of kindness each week. Start small, but start today. Be patient with yourself. Building new habits takes time, but trust the process because the science is clear and the results are real. You have the power to transform your own well-being and to be a transformative presence in others' lives. It's not just hyperbole. It's what the research shows. How we treat one another matters profoundly. It matters for the people around us, and it matters for our own health and happiness. This year can be different. This year can be better. Not because everything in the world changes, but because you're choosing to show up differently in your relationships and in your daily interactions. It's powerful. It's meaningful. And that's entirely within your control. If you'd like to dive deeper into these topics, then be sure to check out the resources listed in this episode description. Thank you for listening. Here's to a year of deeper connection, greater kindness, and the well-being that flows from both. This brings us to the end of this episode of It Matters How We Treat One Another. Be sure to check out the episode description for links to more information on the topics from this episode. Please subscribe to keep up with all of our episodes, and you can support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/itmatterspatrons. That's patreon.com/itmatterspatrons. For less than a venti hot latte at your favorite coffee chain each month, you too can be an It Matters patron and help make our show happen. You can also support us by shopping our Etsy store at etsy.com/shop/It Matters merch. There are links in the description. And that shop has lots of really uplifting, feel-good merchandise in it, so definitely check that out. And now you can save 10% off merchandise in our store by entering the code ITMatters10 at checkout. If you want to help feed hungry people around the world, then please visit WFP.org and give to the World Food Program. That's WFP.org. They are not sponsors of this show. They're simply a cause we truly believe in, because combating hunger is so vitally important. Your quote of the week this week is, quote, "You have to make a space in your heart, in your mind, and in your life itself for authentic human connection." End quote. That is from best-selling author Marianne Williamson. And remember, treat everyone with the core 4 values of kindness, respect, empathy, and compassion, and try for love and acceptance whenever possible. Be well, and much love to you all.